Welcome, welcome. I got to say, throughout this whole offseason, David Stearns has really been honest with us. Really been honest with us. Because at the end of the day, David Stearns has said over and over and over, he will do things to make this team better and better. Now, today, unfortunately, there were some positive moves and some negative moves, according to which player you are. So we're going to get into that. But we're going to get into something very important that David Stern said, and I'm pretty sure you thought it was important as well. But before we get into that, please, as always, smash that like button, hit the sub button, join the channel. I'm telling you, you are going to love it. Join us. Join us. We got some interesting baseball content to come, and I got some different things I want to do, and I want you to be around for it. Okay. All right. So David Stearns had a press conference today, and he was basically announcing the final roster positions. Who would make it? Who wouldn't? Two guys that he mentioned would make it was Zach Short and Brett Beatty. Brett Beatty, I don't even know why he mentioned that. Brett Beatty, thank God Brett Beatty made it because I don't know who would be our starting third baseman. So Brett Beatty, yes, he made it. Clap hands for Brett Beatty. Zach Short was a little bit more of a long shot. Congratulations to Mr. Zach Short. But the big news was that G-Man Choi is not making the ball club. All right, not just kidding. No, the big news is Mark Vientos is not coming north with the ball club. And I know that's hurting the feelings of some folks, but at the end of the day, he did not win favor with Stearns, with David Stearns, and quite frankly, Mendoza. He had a position or had a chance to win. He didn't win. Now, I know, is it fair to say, hey, he just had a few games in spring training? No, it's not fair, but it's also a continuation of how we played in the major leagues last year. Also a continuation. And you got to think of it. He wasn't facing everybody's best pitcher. He was facing a lot of guys who would be optioned to AAA. So if it was his chance to seize the moment, quite honestly, he did not seize the moment. He didn't seize the moment. So he will have opportunities in the future. But for right now, Mr. Mark Vientos is going to AAA, and that's it. Wasn't impressive, and he'll have his chances in the future. Now, it was asked over and over, 2 or 3 times, okay, so who's going to be the DH until Martinez is ready? And David Stearns kind of said, well, you know what? We have a couple of days to make that decision. Rosters aren't officially set yet, this and that. But, he wasn't giving an answer. It's a couple of days before opening day. You would think he'd pivot to, oh, it's going to be this guy. Oh, it's going to be that guy. But that automatically right there kind of says that he's not satisfied with anybody. So then the next person goes, so it's going to be an outside guy. And David Stearns goes, like he always does, anything is possible, and he's going to always try to make this team better. I mean, I was looking at the free agent list. I mean, there are some good free agents. I mean, you still got guys out there like Tommy Pham. Tommy Pham, I don't know if he'd be willing to take a limited role, but you also got guys out there like Brandon Belt. And Brandon Belt is an interesting guy, really interesting guy. I want to bring you some of his numbers. Other guys on the free agent list, obviously, you got Evan Longoria. You got Darren Ruff. Anybody who wants to get back into that, we're not being serious, but Brandon Belt, I would have to say he's a very interesting option. I don't think he's going to cost anything at all. But if you really bring up his numbers and kind of what he is, he's a lefty. He's a lefty. He plays first base. He plays a little bit of left field. And last year, he had a pretty decent season in 400 plate appearances, 340 at-bats. The guy hit 19 home runs, 43 RBIs, and only 340 at-bats. Keep that in mind. His on-base was 370. His OPS was 858. His OPS plus was 136. His slug was almost 500. Folks, listen to these numbers. OPS plus 136. That's 36 points above league average. His on base was 370. His slug was almost 500. His OPS was 860. We didn't have many guys with an OPS close to that last year. I'm telling you, if that was my choice, needing a lefty and a guy who I think is a really good veteran, Brandon Belt is a guy I would target. Tommy Pham, I think he's going to want to play a little more. And, he's an outfielder. He's another righty. I don't know if he quite fits. Is he a talented guy? Yes, I would take him. I would definitely take him. But I would really circle Brandon Belt right now. I really would. I would circle Brandon Belt. They may go David Stearns may be looking more towards the long term, so maybe he would be interested more in a Tommy Pham. But bottom line, the answer looks like he's looking outside the organization, but let's look past that. This really tells me we're in it this year. We are in it. I mean, this guy right now in the last couple of weeks is managing this ball club like we want to go far. Not only do we want to make the playoffs, we want to go far. And there were people who are kind of saying, oh, the Mets, they didn't spend a lot of money. Well, at the end of the day, the Mets spent quite a lot of money this offseason. We spent the 10th most money. Actually, we almost basically tied the Yankees with about $120 million. I forgot around that amount that we spent in the offseason, but we were in the top third spending. So not bad considering we're over $300 million. And the great thing is we didn't any of that money isn't really interfering with their 2025 payroll. So I thought it was a very kind of cunning, shrewd, clever way to get this team really, I would say, as good as he can make this team right now without doling out any crazy contracts. And another thing that David Stearns mentioned that like my ear kind of went up, he goes, oh, yeah, I was dealing with Boris about Martinez as I was dealing with Boris about his other clients. So I'm like, oh, so he was interested. So that just, again, kind of goes that David Stearns is going to explore every single opportunity to make this team better, which really kind of like goes to what I've been saying. This is just really kind of the beginning. It is the beginning, folks. David Stearns is a beast. In the way he handled the press conference, the guy is a pro. He is a pro. And, a guy like Jordan Montgomery, I wouldn't be surprised. I really wouldn't be surprised if we get him for the right price. And, like I said, circle Brandon Belt. I'm thinking Brandon Belt right now. If we went with a guy like an Evan Longoria, it kind of seems like he'd get a guy, an Evan Longoria more as a stopgap. But Brandon Belt is a hell of a ball player right now. I'm really surprised he's not really scooped up. That really goes to what JD Martinez was saying the other day in his press conference. And he's saying, hey, there's a lot of teams right now not spending. And there are a lot of good ball players sitting on the free agent list, not signed. And, it's just a travesty. It's a shame. And that's why JD was quite honest. He's like, hey, I didn't want to go to the Giants Park and hit 20, 25 home runs so that next year when I want to play again, that teams are like, hey, this guy's done. And that kind of that's another thing I like about JD Martinez. This guy doesn't want to just play this year. He wants to play this year and next year. And then, to comment on what JD Martinez said yesterday he's addicted to the playoffs. I mean, everything that comes out of this guy's mouth is what I want to hear. This guy is really the epitome. He embodies everything you want to embody in, I don't want to say, well, he is a champion. He won the championship in 2018. So he's exactly what you need at this time. And I'm so excited about that. And I think it's going to go downhill. And I wouldn't be surprised right now. Stearns has had time to evaluate some prospects. I wouldn't be surprised if we're going to have one big trade coming too. I've said this, mark my word, between now and next beginning of the season, so before the beginning of 2025, there's going to be a marquee trade. Stearns is going to make his mark on this team. Allah's kind of like the Christian Yelich trade. There is going to be a major trade that he makes. Whether he trades like a plethora, like he's going to evaluate, hey, we have like 5 guys at this position. We're not going to need 2 of those guys, but they have high value. We've been building their value. Stearns is going to, and he's good with trades. He's very shrewd. So I'm excited about that. But what do you think about who do you think this extra guy could be? Could it be a Brandon Belt, Tommy Pham, Evan Longoria, Darren Ruff? Who do you think this could be? I mean, there are a lot of guys. I mean, just I'm looking at the free agent list. I mean, and I'm like, oh, Nelson Cruz, he's retired. But like you have Tommy La Stella, right fielder Cole Calhoun, Tyler Naquin, Will Myers, Kyle Lewis, Adam Eagle, Billy Hamilton, Robbie Grossman, Corey Dickerson, A.G. Pollock, Austin Meadows. So, I mean, he would really have to comb through the list, but those are some of the guys that I highlighted. So, like, subscribe. I'm going to get back to you soon. Like I said, any videos that we have that get to 100 likes, we're going to do a live stream the next day. I'm thinking about doing a live stream for the game, kind of like a watch along. I've never done that before. I kind of think it would be cool. I want to see how that works out. But you know what? Like I said, I will speak to you very, very soon. Have a great day. Enjoy your night.